So, love and wholeness to you all. Getting straight into it, talking about the third eye today. This video was requested to me, and I'm grateful that it was, because it's something that I didn't really think to cover because it's been covered so much already. But let's get into it. So the third eye, also known as the pineal gland, is basically our gateway to the spiritual realm, seeing into the spiritual realm. And so when people say opening the third eye, or the reference opening the third eye and activating it, a lot of times they talk about, being able to see spirits and ghosts and stuff and dead people and everything, but it's way more than that. So I'm going to share with you my perspective on how to open it, how to open the third eye, how to activate the third eye, and different practices that you can do that I've done myself. So let's get into it. The third eye, it activates in darkness, which is why it activates at night mostly. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't operate during the daytime or in light, but it operates best in darkness. That's why it's in the very middle of our brain. It's not right here on the forehead, but it's right here, like dead center in the middle of our brain, right between both hemispheres, right in the middle of this axis. That's where it is. And so there's no light that gets to it besides when we open our eyes. So when we open our eyes and let light in, that's the only light that really gets to it. And so when we close our eyes, when we're in pure darkness, that's when the third eye really comes alive. It starts to open and activate more in that environment. And so some signs that your third eye may be activating is that when you are in darkness or when you close your eyes, you start to see colors. I talked about this in a previous video of the voice state meditation. When you meditate, you're in darkness, you start to see colors. That's one of the signs that you're that you're on the track, on the path of getting to the void within yourself. And that is a sign of your third eye being open and being active. Because when you see those colors aren't just, they're in your mind, but they're in your mind because of your third eye being open. You're able to see and perceive with your eyes closed. That tells you something right there. And so also another sign is the ability to, with clarity, visualize anything that you want. So you're able to utilize your imagination to visualize with great precision and great clarity within your mind. So you can do that with your eyes closed and your eyes open. Daydreaming, that is a practice of the third eye. So if you're someone that grew up, you're in school, your class, whatever, you're daydreaming, you're seeing things happening in your mind that aren't really there, that's you practicing and exercising your third eye right there. So those are some of the signs that your third eye is open and active. And let me talk a little bit about the difference between it being open and the difference between it being active, open and active. So I like to relate to it like this. Having your third eye open is like waking up in the morning, waking up in the rising. You're up, or you're not up, you're awake, your eyes are open, you're coherent, you're conscious, everything, but you're not up out of bed yet. You're not active yet. And being active, I relate that to actually getting up out of bed, getting ready for the day, and putting your skills, putting everything to fruition, putting everything to practice, so that everything that you are, you're active in that. So to me, that's the difference between having your third eye open and having it active. Having it open means that, you may be able to perceive different things, you may be able to see with more clarity certain things, but having it active means to actually practice honing those skills with your third eye. So you're not just having more vivid dreams, you're starting to practice lucid dreaming. You're not just seeing different things with your eyes open or your eyes closed, you're actually practicing things like astral travel or remote viewing. That's the difference between having it open and having it active to me. Open is just things happen, but having it active, you're intentional with what things are happening so that you can continue practice and bettering your skills with your third eye. And so some things that may block the third eye are stress, lying, and really anything that clouds the mind. And so if you're someone who is stressed all the time, or you're experiencing higher than usual stress levels, then that could potentially block the functionality of your third eye. Like, you may notice that when you're stressed, if you're going to sleep and you're still experiencing that stress, you're probably not remembering your dreams that as often or as much as you usually do if you're not stressed. Because, stress, it blocks a lot of things within us, blocking the third eye, imagination, creativity, blocking all that is because when you're stressed, you're focused on something, you're worrying about something that is a fear, or that is an emotion and a state of being that is rooted in fear. And when you're in fear, you usually tend to shrink down. Sorry, it's my notebook right here. But you tend to shrink down and basically try to protect yourself. Like, that's the visual that I get when I think of fear. Shrinking your energy, going into, fetal position, stuff like that. So you're shrinking yourself, you're bringing yourself down, you're not expanding, you're not open. So that fear is what's blocking you from really tapping into that third eye and seeing different possible ways of maybe getting out of your situation or overcoming your situation, stuff like that. And then when you're lying, I'm not talking about necessarily only lying to other people. I'm talking about mainly lying to yourself. Because, for example, when I was really all throughout school, but we'll just focus on college for me right now. When I was in college, I hated almost every single second of it. Just being flat out honest. I hated almost every single second of it. But I was lying to myself by saying, this is something that's good for me. This is something that I need to do. But really, that was just programming from my family, my parents, and everybody who wanted me to go to college and everything. But like, in my heart, in my soul, I knew that it wasn't right for me. But consciously, I was telling myself that this is something that I need to do, so I'm going to do it. I was lying to myself. I didn't need to do it. I was under the belief and the impression that I needed to do it. So I was telling myself that I needed to do it, but I was really just lying to myself, because I knew that in my spirit, my heart, my soul, that I was not supposed to be going to college like that. And that's a different story for a different day. But me lying to myself in that way, especially living a lifestyle and going to something every single day, putting my all into something that I knew wasn't right for me, that was a big lie for me. And it blocked not only my third eye, but it blocked so many aspects of myself and just caused me to shut down in so many different ways, but my third eye being one of them. And so it was more difficult to lucid dream at that time. It was more difficult to meditate at that time because, I was already strong and firm in my practices, meditating every day, at least as much as I can, practicing lucid dreaming, sometimes astral projecting. I was really firm and already strong in my practices, but I noticed that it felt like I hit a block. I couldn't reach those higher levels anymore. I couldn't continue growing in that aspect of myself because, my third eye, among other things, were being blocked. And so it took me dropping out of college, realigning with my truth, not lying to myself anymore, and definitely not lying to others, to allow myself to start really growing again and continue further activating my third eye even more. And then anything that clouds the mind, that could be lying, that could be stress, that could be confusion coming in from other people, from other places. So anything that clouds the mind, like, for example, if you're watching, everybody demonizes the news, even though it is good to stay informed. But if you're watching the news unintentionally and you're allowing that negativity to really seep into your mind and you're believing that, that's something that clouds your mind right there. If you're somebody who watches a lot of TV, then, you may be watching that programming that you're watching, the TV show or the sports, the game, whatever it is. Even if you're watching a movie, you have the Disney Plus, I guess the lower tier one with ads on it. Like, all those different ads coming in, interrupting the programming, that's like a full representation of what's going on in your mind, of clouding your mind. You're focused on something, but then these other things are allowed in. And so you're not just focused on the one thing that you're focused on The thing with everything else, the ads and everything that's kind of floating around in your mind pertaining to the program that you're watching. So that right there, having your mind clouded, anything that clouds the mind, it can block the third eye, because the third eye, to strengthen it, you need clarity, you need understanding, you need understanding and overstanding. You need to be firm and knowing what you're seeing, knowing what you're feeling, knowing what you're experiencing. But when your mind is clouded, it becomes very easy to become imbalanced. It becomes very easy to be in a state of dis-ease, not disease, but dis-ease. So you're not at ease or in harmony within yourself. So the more that your mind is clouded, the more that you may be blocking your third eye. Now, everything that I'm saying is not like just cut and dry, simple black and white. Like, if you do this, your third eye is going to be blocked. I'm not saying that, because we all do work within ourselves. So we all have different results. But what I'm saying is, all these things, they have the potential to block your third eye. They've been known in myself and in other people who have expressed the same things to cause blockages in the third eye. Not to fully shut it down or anything, but blocking as in stopping them from really reaching those higher heights, from activating it even more, from opening it even more. So let's move on. And so let's talk about some of the benefits of opening and activating your third eye. So we talked about dreaming, and now let's talk about creating your reality. So these two kind of go hand in hand, because when I say dreaming, I'm meaning dreaming as in what you do at night when you go to sleep, and also dreaming as in visualizing, creating your ideal reality. What kind of life do you want to be living? You know, do you want to start a business, be an entrepreneur, be a multimillionaire? Do you want to be an athlete, professional athlete, singer, songwriter, script, whatever it is? Dream it. Dreaming that involves the third eye. You know, people who have Pisces placements, they really, like for me, for example, my sun sign is Pisces. I've been utilizing my third eye my entire life without even realizing it, because I've always been that daydreamer. I've always been that one that's here, but mentally I'm somewhere else. So I've, unintentionally been working in my third eye since like this entire lifetime. But now being conscious of what I'm doing, it allows me to create my dreams, manifest my reality with far more intention, with way more intention. And so that's one of the benefits of having an open and active third eye and continuing to work on it, is be able to more clearly and more successfully create your reality. Because if you could see it in here, and then you feel it in here, feel it in your heart, that's when that's when your dreams come to fruition. That's when your dreams manifest. And then talking about the other kind of dreams where you do at night, opening the third eye and activating it, it helps with lucid dreaming and astral projection. Because when we're lucid dreaming, when we're dreaming in general, we're astral traveling. So we don't get up out of our body. So let me clarify this. So the difference between astral projection and astral travel is that astral projection, you're still here in this reality. You're still here in this third dimension, maybe slightly higher, maybe slightly lower, but roughly the third dimension. But you're in your soul form, you're in your astral form. So you're here, you can walk around. Like, I remember one of the first times I astral projected, I got up. I didn't realize I was astral projecting until I looked back on my bed and saw my physical body laying there. And so that's an example of astral projection. And astral travel is what we do every single night, where we dream and go into the dream world or the fourth dimension or the astrals, and we have our, astral form there. So having your third eye open, it really helps with that, because it helps you to be able to be more conscious and just more lucid in your dreams, so that when you are dreaming, you're able to recall the dreams even more. You're able to be more conscious and more intentional in your dreams. And this allows a whole host of things. So like, for example, when I was heavy into my shadow work, I was doing a lot of my shadow work in my dreams, because I was lucid dreaming. And when you're in the astrals, you create everything from your mind. So everything that you experience in the dream, well, most times everything that you experience in the dream is a result of you, is a result of your mind, the state of being, the state of consciousness, the state of awareness that you're in. And so when you have those scary dreams and stuff, but you're lucid, you can then turn and face whatever it is, whatever monster it is that's chasing you, and see and understand what it actually is, because that's just representing an aspect of you that you need to work on, that you need to love more, that you need to actually accept into you. So we'll talk about that in another video, but that's something that having your third eye open really helps a lot with. Dreaming, both for manifestation purposes, creating your ideal life, and dreaming just at night, so you can work on yourself even more. You can experience more in the dream state. So let's get into some practices that you can do. There's 4 of them. Technically it's 3 of them, but I wrote them down as 4. So one is just regular meditation. The next one is sun gazing. The third one is candle gazing. So sun gazing, candle gazing, they kind of go hand in hand. They're not the same thing, but they have the same kind of effect. And then the last one is dark room meditation. Dark room meditation being my favorite one by far. So regular meditation, like I can sit here, light in the room and everything, sun's out, I can still meditate. And what I'm doing is I'm focusing on my third eye. What helps is to have your eyes going up, looking up almost like in the middle of your eyebrow. Pretty sure a lot of you have heard that before when you're meditating. That helps because your third eye isn't right here specifically in your forehead. Like I said, is in the middle of your entire cranium, in the middle of your brain. But just having your awareness, having your focus and your intention be up here in this region, it helps you access more of that third eye. It helps you feel into it a lot more. And this is what you're doing when you're meditating. You're feeling into it. And then as you feel into it, that allows you to really just learn and understand more about it. Because think about, like, say if you can't see something, but you're feeling around for it, the more that you feel it, the more you gain an understanding of what it actually is that you're feeling. And so with that information, you can then utilize that information to learn more about what it is that you're feeling, and then integrate those lessons so that you can then further open and activate your third eye. So when we're doing that, all we're really doing when we meditate, all we're really doing is just focusing on the third eye, allowing ourselves to feel into it. And the more we feel into it, the more we'll understand it. The more we understand it, the more we'll understand and know how to utilize it, how to open it more, how to activate it more. So that's all it is. Meditation. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed, you want to have your eyes looking up at your eyebrow, so that it helps you to feel into the third eye, that area, that chakra, even more. And then the second and third practices are sun gazing and candle gazing. So I'm not too big into sun gazing, and I'm not nearly as big into candle gazing. So I like sun gazing, I enjoy it, but it's just something that doesn't, like, it resonates with me, but it's not just, it's not my preferred cup of tea. It helps. I experience the benefits with it. But for my third eye specifically, like what I've heard other people talk about and stuff, I didn't really notice much with my third eye activating it more and opening it more through sun gazing. And I know that this practice works because, I've noticed, a few, I've noticed small improvements, right? Like, utilizing my third eye to see into myself more, gain more clarity within myself even more. That's something that I realized that I've grown more through practicing sun gazing. And it's the same with candle gazing as well. So when you use candle gazing is when you say you live in an environment where, it's cloudy a lot. Maybe you live like up in the Pacific Northwest or New York or something like that. If it's cloudy a lot, then candle gazing in place of sun gazing can help. So what you do for specifically the third eye, so I believe that it would help most to get a purple candle, so that when you light it, you see that purple, the color purple, reflects the color of the third eye chakra. So when you get that purple candle, light the flame, you do that when the sun is rising or when the sun is setting. So in place of sun gazing. So with sun gazing, you only look at the sun when it's rising or when it's setting. Only some people say the first hour of the sunrise and the last hour of sunset. I recommend personally the first 30 minutes, within the first 30 minutes, or within the last 30 minutes. So, because after a certain point, for me personally, after it gets to, being in the sky, rising for 30 minutes, that's when it becomes a little bit too intense to look at for me. And once it gets to that point, don't look at it anymore, because it can actually cause damage to your eyes. And then the last 30 minutes, same thing. Wait until the sun is, setting. Wait until it's about to go down. Then you start sun gazing. And you can do it either, outside barefoot, really get that grounding effect. Or you can just do it, inside. Maybe you're sitting in your car. Maybe you're sitting in your room looking through the window. You can do it that way too. There's more advanced ways to do it as well. I just haven't felt called to really go down those more advanced routes. But yeah, that's sun gazing. Candle gazing do the same thing. You just light the candle, sit it right in front of you. First 30 minutes, or in this case, you could do the first hour of sunrise and sunset. But that's all you do. You just basically replacing the actual sun with a candle right in front of you. And so it should have the same effect. I haven't done candle gazing as much as I've done sun gazing, but you should have the same or similar effects as you would with sun gazing. And if you're someone that really resonates with sun gazing, then congratulations. You found a way that really helps you grow and helps you elevate, because it does way more than just helps you open and utilize your third eye more. It does way more than that. But in this case, talking about the third eye, keep going down that path and see where it leads you, see how much you grow, see how much you evolve. Just keep practicing. And then the last one, my favorite, darkroom meditation. Darkroom meditation for me is to me, that's like the holy grail of practices, because I could do that for hours on hours upon hours every single day if I have the time freedom to do that. So for me, darkroom meditation, I'm getting excited just thinking about it right now. But darkroom meditation, everything is completely dark, pitch black if you can get it pitch black. You can do it during the day, during the night, whatever it is, whenever you have access to darkness, that's when you do it. And so you can do the same thing of focusing on your third eye when you meditate. You can do it, sitting down, laying down. I prefer laying down because it allows me to go deeper into my consciousness, deeper into myself. And this is what allows me to tap into those different things like remote viewing. That's something that I practice a lot when I do darkroom meditation. I'm not the best at it yet, but it's an ongoing practice, and it's something that I really, really, really enjoy doing. But yes, darkroom meditation can be utilized in the same way, practiced in the same way as regular meditation, but doing it in a dark room, in a dark environment. Meditating in a dark environment allows you to go so much deeper into yourself, because when you're in darkness, that's really where everything comes from, darkness. So we say everything is love and light, but even light comes from darkness. And so if you're able to go deep within yourself, that opens that allows you to grow so much. But talking about specifically with the third eye, practicing it in a dark room, it allows you to, it allows you to practice and observe everything to a way higher degree, to a way higher level. Like those colors that I mentioned earlier, seeing those different colors, like when you're in a dark room, close your eyes, like you'll start to see, red, blue, green, yellow, purple, all these different colors just like flowing around. And that's a sign that, again, your third eye is open and it's active. But now that you're in a dark room, you're able to hone in on it even more, a lot easier, with more ease. I'm not saying that it'll be easy, but it'll have the allowance of more ease. So when you get into this space, that's when you really let yourself drop in and be still. be still, allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to just observe, be the observer, so that when you drop into those deeper states, I gotta look over the brain waves again, but you got alpha, beta, theta, those different brain waves, those different states. It's much more easier to drop into those lower states so that you're able to tap into those, different realms. That's how you get into remote viewing. So remote viewing is one of the, so that flows right into the advanced practices that I was getting ready to talk about in the next segment. So let's flow right into that. So remote viewing, when you're doing dark room meditation, you may find that you just start to see, like your eyes closed and everything, your meditation, and you just start to see a different environment. Like I remember there's so many times where I'll just be meditating, dark room meditation, and I'll just start to see this beautiful, serene environment. Like I'm in a forest. It's like, and then the more I look around, the more I'm like just surrounded by it, and I'm seeing it. And I'm like, where's this place at? Is this place here on Earth, or is this place in another reality, another dimension, another planet? There's so many questions that arise, but you get there, you get to that state of remote viewing by being still, being calm within yourself, and just being the observer. Because when you're the observer, everything starts to open up for you. You start to see and feel everything that's around you, everything that's within you. And so when you get into this state, you can find yourself in different places, whether it be here on Earth or somewhere completely else, a different realm, different dimension. Like remote viewing, you can go seemingly anywhere with it. I don't know if you can go everywhere with it, but seemingly you can go anywhere with it. Now, you could even look into remote viewing from a more, grounded perspective, you could say, where they've done, military, the U.S. military, and I'm pretty sure the Russian military as well, government agencies, CIA and everything. Like you can look into these documents, these declassified documents, and see that they're doing testing with people who can remote view to find certain things across the country, so that they don't have to send a physical person over there. They can just have someone remote view. They tell them these coordinates. They remote view. They go to these coordinates. These are people who are very advanced with remote viewing. I'm on my way there, but it just shows you how precise and how much of a tool this can actually be. So you can remote view, see something on the complete opposite end of the world, relay that information, tell, whoever it is, this is what the CIA did, this is what the U.S. military did. They use this information from the remote viewers to locate certain targets, certain people, certain, whatever it is that their agenda was. And that's actually how they got certain missions complete, by utilizing remote viewers to give them the information that they need, so that they don't, send someone over there physically, spy, get them caught or whatever. No, that's a whole different rabbit hole. But you can look into those documents and see what they're doing and how they're utilizing the third eye to literally accomplish things physically on Earth, to their agenda. And then, when we talk about, I mentioned earlier, seeing in the spirit. So seeing spirits, seeing ghosts, seeing dead people. I'm someone who is still, I haven't ever really been able to see that, like, to this degree, see spirits. Now I'm able to feel a lot. Like I'm very sensitive feeling. So if I feel something in the environment, that's more so how I know, rather than seeing it visually. But there's certain people who are born with that ability to just see visually. They see in the spirit. They see dead people just walking around as if they're, here right now physically. Like I remember I had a friend who had this gift, who had this ability just naturally. And I remember we're sitting, we're chilling, just relax, like talking to each other and everything. And then she tells me that she sees something over somewhere else in the other part of the room. And I'm looking over there, I'm like, wait, I don't see it. But the more that I looked, the more that I tried to focus on where she was telling me to look, the more that I saw this like slight white haziness. And I couldn't see what she was actually seeing, but to me, I saw like a trace of it. I saw like a little hint of it, and it reminds me of like this. I don't know if you guys seen the anime Seven Deadly Sins, but in, I believe it was the first season, they went to this place called the Necropolis, and that's basically like, they went to the spirit realm pretty much. And one of the characters, his sister was there, and so the brother and the girl, his lover, they were looking for the girl who passed away. They were trying to find her spirit, her in spirit form, and she revealed herself to her lover. He could see him he could see her perfectly fine, but her brother, they had something going on between them, so they had some beef. They didn't like, she didn't want to reveal her form to him, and so all he saw was like little sparks of light, specks of light and everything, but he couldn't actually see her, but he could feel that it was her. And that's kind of where I'm at with being able to see in the spirit. I can feel it more than I can actually see it. So yeah, and as I'm continuing to work on my third eye and open and activate it even more, I noticed that I'm starting to see things, at the corner of my eye more. I'm starting to see little signs and hints that I'm actually, on that path of seeing spirits and seeing in the spirit, as well as, feeling. So when I'm able to feel and see in the spirit, that's going to unlock so many more doors for me. So if you're someone who has that gift naturally to see in the spirit, keep honing it, keep working on it, see how it can benefit you, and see what you can do, see how you can utilize it to serve yourself and serve your loved ones around you. And yeah, if you're someone like me who's just continuing to work on that to get to that level, then keep doing the practices that I mentioned: meditating, either sun gazing, candle gazing, or dark room meditation. And also, what I'm noticing is that the more that you just day to day focus on your third eye, you could just be on your way to work, you could be walking down the street somewhere. If you're focused on your third eye, as in like actively meditating, and you're focusing on your third eye, then that also helps actively practicing activating even more. So you may have some breakthroughs just by doing that. Another one is lucid dreaming. So we talked about lucid dreaming before, and when you get really good at lucid dreaming, this opens up so many doors for you. So practicing dark room meditation, especially practicing meditation before going to sleep, that helps you improve the ability to lucid dream by so many times. It helps tremendously. Meditating before going to sleep, it helps you get into that state of being conscious and being fully present with yourself before you fall asleep, so that when you do fall asleep, you don't just knock out, like the light switch just goes out. Like, you don't just knock out like that. You kind of more drift and fade into the dream space as you're slowly falling asleep, so that when you are in the dream, you're more conscious of the fact that you actually are dreaming. It's not just a quick, you're awake, and then all of a sudden you just knocked out. No, it's more of, you're awake, I'm allowing myself to fall asleep more and more, but as I'm falling asleep, I'm able to see that I'm not just blacking out. There's things starting to form around me. The dream is actually starting to form around me, and as I'm physically going to sleep, consciously I'm still awake. I'm letting my body go to sleep, but consciously I'm still awake. And this has a lot to do with third eye being open and active, because the third eye, it's the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. And so if you're able to stay conscious while you're going to sleep, the third eye is becoming more active at night, in darkness. So when you stay conscious, you're able to see what your third eye is allowing you to cross into. So it's like, instead of someone knocking you out and dragging you across the bridge, and then you wake up and you're in a different world, you're in a different reality, you're able to actually walk across the bridge yourself and fully and consciously and intentionally go into that reality, so that when you are in that dream space, you're lucid. So you have the ability to do anything that you want. Now, some people, they don't practice the way that actually a lot of people, they don't practice the way that I just mentioned, They practice by having, a certain signal to help them wake up in the dream, to help them become lucid when they're already in a dream. One of those is, looking at your hands. One of them is telling yourself a phrase like, I'm awake, I'm conscious, I'm lucid, while you're like in this waking life. And then when you're in the dream, you do the same thing, you repeat those same things, and it helps you remind you to be conscious of wherever you're at. So stuff like that. But I prefer actually walking into the dream. And, dream walking is another very advanced technique that we won't get into today, because I'm still practicing that myself. So when I do have significant gains with that, I'll let you know. But yes, lucid dreaming, astral projection. Now, astral projection isn't solely due to the third eye, but having an open and active third eye definitely helps, because how I like to classify it, or how I like to explain it visually, is like lucid dreaming, astral projecting. When you have your third eye closed, it's like it can happen. It's almost like, going to sleep and lucid dreaming. Like, it can happen, but you're not intentional with it. So it's kind of like somebody telling you that, you can get up out of your body, you can leave your body, you can astral project and fly around, do all these different things. And you may believe it, but your third eye is closed, so you may not be able to see it and perceive it in your mind. So it feels more far-fetched for you. But when your third eye is open, it's kind of like you see the window of opportunity right there. It's like you're looking out the window and you see that, there is another world there. So you're able to see that it's not far-fetched, that you can actually do it. And opening and activating the third eye is like opening the window and being able to walk into that world, walk into that realm. So when you're able to see that realm is there, whether it be through your imagination, whether it be through remembering your dreams, dream recalling, you're able to see it, so you're able to comprehend it and believe, and not even just believe it, but know it just that more concretely, that more firmly, so that when you do start practicing astral projection, it may come to you a lot easier, rather than someone who doesn't have the third eye open, so they don't really know what they're looking for. They don't really know how to actually get to where they're going. It may happen, it may not, who knows? But when your third eye is open, it becomes much more of an opportunity, much more achievable for you, because you're able to see it and know that it's right there. It's here. All it takes is practice. So for the last thing, finish out with certain crystals that help with opening and utilizing and activating the third eye even more. So I've worked with 2 crystals myself. There's more crystals that you can look up, but I'll share my experience with these 2 crystals. These are amethyst and clear quartz. So amethyst, I used to have both these crystals, but crystals they kind of just up and leave when they're ready to leave. And both of these crystals, they left when they're ready to leave. And so with amethyst, I noticed that I put it under my pillow a few nights, well, more than a few nights, but especially like the first few times I put it under my pillow to go to sleep with. My dreams were already vivid because I was practicing lucid dreaming, but after that, with sleeping with amethyst under my pillow, my dreams went from here to way up there, like super lucid, super vivid. I almost couldn't believe what I was experiencing, or how I was experiencing it, because it was just so much more clear. It was like going from like 480 to 4K. Like it was like that much of a difference. And that's something that helps you get up to those levels just naturally, working with amethyst. So meditating with amethyst, you could meditate with amethyst right above your third eye. Same thing with clear quartz. But with amethyst, you can meditate with it, you can sleep with it, and those are the 2 things that I recommend. You can just, have it on your person, wear it on you, wear it as a necklace, whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, be intentional with it. The same thing with clear quartz. With clear quartz, I noticed that my dreams were a lot more sharp, a lot more vivid, and I was able to recall them way easier. So with the amethyst, my experience was like the level of vividness and the feeling of it being more real than this reality. That's what it did. That's the effect that it had on me. And so those dreams, like, they were not like super wild and out there. It was just crazy how vivid and real they felt, because it felt like it was more real than this reality here right now. And then the clear course, it had a similar effect because I had a similar intention. But I noticed that with clear course, I was able to retain and recall the dreams a lot easier after I woke up. They're still vivid. They still felt very, very real, like more real than this reality. It just wasn't to that same level of amethyst. But with the clear quartz, I noticed that I was able to recall and get a lot more information out of the dreams that I had that night, or those nights. And so there's a lot more crystals you can look up. I mean, you can honestly program any crystal to help you with the third eye. It's just that some crystals, they're naturally predisposed, they're naturally structured to have that certain energy, to emit that certain energy, to help you tap into your third eye even more. Clear quartz is one of those crystals where you can program it to do anything, and that's what it'll do. Amethyst is one of those crystals where, it's purple, it's, indigo, so it helps with the third eye just by the color that it is. So, won't get too much deeper into that because this video is already long. But yeah, we'll end it there. Much love to y'all. I love you. Hope you got something out of this. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great day, great night. Just be you, be great. Love you.